the Dork Podcast with Rich Keefe. It's the Dork Podcast. Keefe Davey. It's the Dork Podcast. Hashtag. It's the hashtag Dork Podcast.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Hashtag Dork. My name is Rich Keefe, joined as always by Davey Eyeballs. He is Rare Devil Von Daredevil. He is promo code Ron Von D. All hail the king of ginger ale. It's Ryan. Davey, how are you?
Just having a time. Enjoying small dick fall so far.
Same. I was going to ask you how your small dick fall is going.
Oh, it's going great.
Mine's going great. It was funny. Somebody on Instagram wished me a couple people actually wished me a happy small dick fall. I said same to you. And I think people are just living their best life right now in the fall.
No takers for the Dinky Dash yet. Our charity 5K.
No,
raise awareness for small peckers.
That's coming. I don't doubt it's coming.
It's coming.
And with small dick fall, Ryan, you also get Dorktober.
Sure.
And I am pleased to announce it'll be Dorktober 6. Jason Rossi Lives.
I can't wait.
It starts this Friday. There's 4 Mondays in Dorktober.
Yep.
And I think we have those locked in. So this is what they're going to be. Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. I figure, first of all, it's a comic book movie. We have to do it. It's also kind of probably more horror-ish than any other comic book movie, right?
Let's hope.
Maybe not. Probably going to be trash, but we're going to see it.
Mm-hmm.
What if there was a zombies episode? So it kind of applies for Dorktober. It's Marvel. We have to do it.
We have to do it.
But then the last 2 Mondays,
mm-hmm.
Halloween Kills review.
Yes.
And 2021 horror movies.
I'm in.
But
I like that.
I know what you're saying. You're driving in your car, or maybe you're running on your treadmill. Maybe you're cycling on your Peloton. Maybe you're however you listen to your podcast. I don't know how you listen to us.
I like how you said that. Your Peloton.
Maybe you're taking a morning grumpy. I don't know what you're doing, but you're listening to the podcast. We're sprinkling some more TBD to make it extra spooky this Dorktober season. So we have a few others planned. We might highlight a couple of movies. We'll give people advance warnings if they want to watch the movies before we do as well. We're working on a top 10 horror comics list.
Yes, we are.
With the fellows from TLDR, so I'm excited about that. We have a couple other things. What would you call it? Irons in the fire? Is that a term that you would say?
Got a couple fingers and pies, as they say.
What kind of pie?
The best kind.
Your personal favorite.
Only the best.
So we were gonna. And it's a good point. It's small dick fall. It's Dorktober. It's hair pie season. All of your favorites. This is such a jam-packed 4 months. Because then I segue nicely into Christmas, my favorite time of the world.
Yeah, we need some sort of
what should we call Christmas?
Crashmore season.
Yeah, it's not good behavior. It's
not that year.
That's actually a good point, because if we have the end of September kicks off small dick fall, all month long, your Dorktober.
Yep.
November probably is truly culmination.
Yeah.
It's probably hair pie season.
Yep.
In November. December.
What are we, 10 years old? I've seen every cock on the planet.
If you were interviewing Leonardo DiCaprio, would you ask him about Christmases?
You fucking suck.
Fucking bullshit. Fucking amateur bullshit.
That's why no one watches AOL.
AOL Blast. Anyway, so it's something to kick around. I'm pretty excited about it. I know you're excited about it. I know the people are excited about it. But Ryan, we have a heck of an episode to get to today, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Sure do. It's a real goddammer of an episode here.
Let's dive right in.
This week in Dork. Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this, Ryan. You hear about this? You see this?
You familiar with this? Yeah.
Netflix had they called it the Totem event. And it's sort of
pronounced Totem, like the Netflix sound.
I thought it was Totem.
No, it's like
that makes way more sense.
Yeah, like the
you just described that to everybody.
It's onomatopoeic.
Tudum.
Onomatopoeia, yeah.
Motherfucker, how about that?
Yep.
See, this is why I had you on.
That's why I'm here. That's why I've been here for years.
Totem. I was like, what is this? Hashtag Totem?
Tudum? What's
Ta-dum.
Tudum? And then I looked it up, and it's Tudum.
I should get that sound clip for the soundboard. Probably
You should absolutely.
Ta-dum. So it's like a DC fandom or a D23. It's one of those type of events, and they just like fired out a whole bunch of new stuff for Netflix. So let me know where you're at. Scale of 1 to 6. It's a great scale we have from Cho jeans to laser beams. Where do you stand now as we saw some new footage of Stranger Things season 4? And I would say, before you answer, maybe the most spooky of the scenes we have seen for Stranger Things season 4.
We're getting a bit of a haunted house vibe with Stranger Things now, which is I'm okay with. That definitely upped it from middling to like, okay, like I might be into this. You heard Steve's voice and he's talking to Dustin, so
I think because I've already said I don't need a season 4 of Stranger Things.
Right.
We probably didn't need a season 3, but we're getting it. But if they really lean on Steve and Dustin, we could be cooking with gas. And it seems like they're getting them out of the fucking name of the town. They're getting them out of there, right? They're moving them out of there a little bit. So you're gonna get different stuff, right?
So Matthew Byrne in the chat is already asking whether or not in the spooky house they're going to have any fuckers coming out of the wall and taking like a big shit.
Oh, my fucking thing froze on me.
Oh, come on. I was waiting for a drop there.
It froze on me. No. I don't know what happened to it. I really cocked that up, didn't I?
It's all right.
Go
bounce back.
steering wheel that doesn't fly off while you're driving.
Too much fucking shit on me. I can't breathe.
Can't breathe. I can't move the board like I used to. I don't know. I have them all over the place. I didn't label them right, but it's a great point. If any fuckers pop out of the wall and tell you got a huge horse cock or a donkey dick or a dingleberry, then yeah, that would be something.
That would be something.
But I am a little bit more in than I was before. I'll say that about it.
Yeah, I'm at about a 4, I would say, for this now, if I didn't say that earlier.
It's not coming out until next year, right? Sometime in 2022.
And I'm sure they'll just trailer the shit out of this thing. They'll market the shit out of it. So we'll see the whole
Any
show.
of these little fuckers ever pop out of the fucking wall and say, fuck, there's a horse cock in my room or a donkey dick?
Like if that's Stranger Things season 4, I'm in.
I'm in on that. We have a plethora of season 4s to get to here, Ryan. Cobra Kai season 4. Talk about a shock. I couldn't need this show less.
Has it run its course? I believe it has.
Yep, it has.
The first 2 seasons were good. Except for, did Daniel take Japan in season 2? Or is that season 3?
I believe 3.
I think so too. So that was no thank you.
No, but that show, even if you liked season 2, it was a huge step backwards from season 1. So it's gone like down. It probably went from like a 5 out of 6 to a 4 to a 3, or even, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know if I'll even watch this.
I gotta believe that there's at least one character on that show, whether it be Johnny or Daniel, who's just like, why the fuck am I doing this? Like, why are we doing karate?
I don't think it's those guys.
I don't think, but like, what
else are they in?
I don't know, but like
nothing.
Who cares? But who cares? Like,
what do you mean? Who cares? They're getting a paycheck.
I know.
Yeah, they're here for it. They're here for it. You know what I am looking forward to?
What's that?
Ozark season 4.
That trailer was nuts.
I like Ozark.
Yeah,
I like it a lot. I think when people compared it to Breaking Bad, that's a little out of hand. It's a little unfair to them. But if you're just comparing it to other shows, I really like Ozark. And I'm telling you, when this comes out, I'm going to have to at least watch the final episode from season 3 again, because that ended on such a note where you were like, oh shit. Without spoiling anything, it was an oh shit. And I can't wait for season 4 now.
And the trailer picks up right after that happened.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, woo. Yeah. Oh, okay. So, like you said, people need to chill with the comparison to Breaking Bad. I would say season one was very good.
Yeah.
Season 2 stunk.
Not as
for
good
the most part, and season 3 got it back on track.
Picked it right back up. Picked it right back up. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Out of all, how would you rank those 3? I'd probably go Ozark, Stranger Things, Cobra Kai.
Correct. That's exactly where I would go.
Yeah.
And I would put the next thing you have on the list above all of those.
That would be the animated series coming to Netflix, The Sandman.
Not animated. That's live action, baby.
Wait, it isn't?
It's live action.
I thought it was animated.
Oh no.
What am I doing? I really
What are you
have.
doing?
I'm having a case of the Mondays here.
Yeah. The trailer showed Dream, showed it showed what's his name? I forget the actor's name, but he played the dad Lannister. He was also
Charles Dance.
Yeah, Charles Dance. He was also Sodom Numspa in The Golden Child. If you want to have that deep pull.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this looks great. And Patton
Oh,
Oswalt
really?
is in it. What?
I don't know why I thought this was animated.
Because there's a lot of voiceover work.
Yeah,
There's a lot of people providing voices, so
maybe that's
probably
what it
threw you.
was.
Yeah.
But either way, first of all, anything Neil Gaiman, and I've been getting back into like comic books like a son of a bitch, but anything Neil Gaiman is worth reading and is awesome.
So there's a collection of stories that they did for like an audio book, and James McAvoy was Dream, and it was fucking awesome.
Right.
Yeah, I think it was my pick of the pod like a while ago. It was so good.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because Neil Gaiman, even my mom, who, as you know, was an art teacher in elementary schools for many years. She's telling me, she's like, she follows Neil Gaiman on Instagram, and he'll post all these like fucking awesome like artwork and stuff that he does. Like he's super into the arts too.
Yeah,
and it's pretty incredible. He's probably, even if he's not one of my 4 or 5 favorites overall, he's up there. But he's got to be one of the 4 or 5 best comic book writers of all time.
Just writer. I mean, in terms of fantasy writers in general, like he's prolific.
Yes.
American Gods is one of my favorite books. I really liked the Nancy Boys. Graveyard Book was incredible. Coraline, which my kids like now, surprisingly enough.
Oh yeah, they watched that movie,
and we have the book too. They love the book too. So
okay, cool.
It's good shit.
He also, I know you're a big fan of Marvel. What was the year?
1602.
1602 was such a cool story, and that was all him, and that was pretty badass. So yeah, I'm a big fan. So anyway, I fucked that up. It's live action, and I'm very excited for it.
Let's get a Marvel 1602 live action.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be pretty cool. And like, we're not doing What If today, but that's like the ultimate like kind of Marvel What If story.
Yeah,
you know, like what if it took place then? That's definitely the one I like a lot. I didn't know we were getting an Extraction 2, Electric Boogaloo. Chris Hemsworth. Extraction 1 was pretty good. It was entertaining. A lot of people watched it on Netflix, so I guess I should have assumed they were doing a season 2. But that was sort of announced, and they gave us a little plug of that.
Yeah, I didn't know they were getting that until you actually wrote it on the outline for the program
Extraction
tonight.
2. Yeah. I was like, all right.
Okay. Straightforward action movie. I'll watch it.
I'll watch it.
I ain't got no problem with that. I ain't got no problem.
All right, here's the ultimate. Will you watch it? Because again, Ryan, you hashtag can't watch everything, right? We're only human, for Christ's sake. Tiger King season 2.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that. Why wouldn't I watch that?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's past. I think it's done.
It's gonna be one of those things. I'm trying to think of like another document, like Making a Murderer. Like they tried to do a season 2 of that, and it wasn't nearly as good because they danced around. They didn't provide any new information. They just kind of danced around it and brought up old shit.
So it took me a couple of sittings to get through season 2. It was really good, but it wasn't the phenomenon that season 1 was.
Right.
I think what also happened with season 1 is nobody knew shit about it. And then after that, if you were interested in that case, you could, I don't know, Bing it and you would find articles on it.
Mm-hmm.
So now this comes out later. And if you were super interested in it, you already would have known what happened. The only compelling thing of that, though, was he got like a really big time lawyer, and she was awesome. That was the only good part of season 2.
Are you talking about Making a Murderer?
Making a Murderer.
Yeah, you're right. Right.
So that was good. So Tiger King, honestly, I'll leave that one up to you. If you think it's good, let me know and I'll watch it. If not, because I'm just like, remember they said they were going to do the scripted series of it. I'm like, you don't need to do this.
Yeah, with Nicolas Cage, and then Amazon was going to do one with Nick Cage, and that flopped. And then NBC is going to do one with Kate McKinnon as Carol Baskin, and who knows what's happening with that. And I don't know. But
thanks.
I think they missed that window. And unless there's like some earth-shattering information, I think I'm all set with this.
Yeah. Have you started? This is all Netflix so far because
Yeah.
they had the event,
Mhm.
which I nailed that too. Midnight Mass is currently streaming, starring Matt Saracen, the latest from the Haunting of Hill House and the Haunting of Bly Manor people, Mike Flanagan. Have you started this yet?
I have not started it yet, but I'm excited to start. Have you started it?
I have not. It's 7 episodes. It looks like they're all about an hour long.
Cool.
If this is good, this could be one of those Dorktober kind of either YouTube exclusives or Dork shorts that we end up doing. So
yeah,
TBD on that. If anybody has started that, let us know. No spoilers, but let us know if it's worth watching. One thing I have not started yet that I'm dying to get into is Star Wars Visions. That's currently streaming on Disney Plus. What can you tell us about that?
So I watched the first 2 episodes. They're about 15 to 17 minutes long. They're not long. The first one was excellent, and the second one was fine.
Okay.
So the first one, I tweeted it out. The first episode of Star Wars Visions was better than any what ifs, but with one except, obviously with the Black Panther.
Yeah,
exception.
episode 2 was great, but okay, interesting.
It's like drawn and animated like an old samurai movie. So it's awesome.
All right.
Yeah, so you definitely check that one out. Actually, no, I watched the first 3. So there's one. It deals with that. That one was awesome, and then there was one about like a rock band from Mos Eisley.
Oh,
which is very Japanese. So I was like, eh. And then the third one is called like Twins or something like that. And that one was, I would give it a 4.5. It was good.
All right. Yeah, I'll probably, once I get like a minute, I'll probably rip through all of those at once. But I haven't watched those. Ryan, speaking of Star Wars. That's right. It's Should I Have Bought This? And it's brought to you by 47 Brand. Go to 47brand.com. Order your hats, your sweatshirts, your shirts, whatever you might have. All the team apparel is out there. And at checkout, enter promo code #dork for 20% off. I actually just finally pulled the trigger today on that Patriots hat I was dying to get. It says Patriots in like big bold letters. It's blue with all the red in it. It's got the Pat Patriot on the side. Oh, I wanted that one so bad, and I got it. It's
for how much? $15 out the door.
I think it was 26 the hat, but again, 20%. And then I bought some other stuff too. So I mean, I saved a goddamn fortune.
And you get over $50, and it's the free shipping.
75 on the free ship. But I hit that number too because I bought something for my wife. I bought something for little CC beans.
So I tell you what, Crashmore season's coming up too. And if you know anybody who hasn't gotten a tattoo this year, you might want to check out 47 Brand hats.
What are we, 10 years old? I've seen every cock on the planet.
All right, Ryan. So what do you say we pull this one up? Boom.
Ooh.
I said, speaking of Star Wars, and I wasn't lying. It's actually a twofer. This is the first item. This comes in from Mike, who I would dare say was maybe our first listener ever. I remember Mike from way back. We've actually met him at one of the conventions before, and this was like early on Dork episodes. I remember him commenting and tweeting us, so I appreciate his support for 5-6 years. So thank you, Mike.
Yeah, thank you, Mike.
The podcast. He said he got some things at Galaxy's Edge last week. This is a Darth Vader lightsaber hilt and stand. As you can see, it looks pretty heavy duty.
It looks like the real deal.
It looks like the real deal is right. $150 for the saber, $25 for the stand, added up $175 out the door.
So $175 out the door. Does it come with like a I don't want to use the word shaft, but does it come with like a red,
So I kind of assume so. He didn't give me any more information on this item other than what it was. But if you look at it, like it's got enough like little buttons and stuff, like a little you know what I mean, like a little red piece there. It seems pretty legit, and it looks like I don't know. There's got to be a saber. He called it. It's a lightsaber hilt and stand. If it's
Okay, so
150 for the saber, it's clearly not just the fucking handle.
no, and that thing's got to be like metal. It's not
Yeah.
just like a plasticky
Yeah.
thing. And that stand, it looks like you could put it on the wall and stand it like straight up. So
I think
that,
you could.
yeah. So that, I mean,
Could
if
you
you're
burn
going,
flesh with the saber would be my question.
I mean, we're getting down to brass tacks here. Like, what are you smacking with that thing?
Not that you would kill another human, Ryan, but let's say
No.
you had to. Let's say you had to, and it was somebody that deserved it.
Sure.
And you could use any weapon, fictional or non-fictional. Wouldn't lightsaber be right at the top?
I think it would, because you think of it like this, and this is where my messed up head goes, is like, if you murder somebody, right?
Sure.
We're all about the true crime.
Yes.
That's easy.
Yeah.
It's the getting away with it after the fact that you're going to have to like have some issues. And the lightsaber automatically cauterizes the wound. There's no mess.
Nope. You're like,
Done.
all right, now what?
Yep.
That's because they're losing hands every episode in Star Wars. Somebody's losing a hand.
Right.
But that's
But
it. There's
no
no
blood.
You don't have to worry about bleeding out.
Nope.
That's true. So you can really hack this guy down to pieces.
Sure.
So, and I know Mike's a massive Star Wars fan. He's got plenty of other Star Wars items, including the next item. But what would you say, Ryan? $175, badass Darth Vader lightsaber, and a stand for it.
I would say if you're going to buy a lightsaber, this is the one you buy.
This is how we do it. This is how we do it.
I would have to agree with you. So that is this is how we do it. This next one, Ryan, is a Star Wars deep cut.
This is a deep cut.
This is a real deep cut.
Yeah.
Sages of Dwarti. I don't even know how to say it. Sages of Dwarti statues. These are two. Now, if you are a Star Wars fan, and I know that most of you are, there are 4 sages of Dwarti, and they popped up in Clone Wars. They also were first seen in just as statues in Attack of the Clones and in Revenge of the Sith.
They were mentioned. I think they were. Did you see that? Yes, you did see them in Revenge of the Sith. When Palpatine and Anakin are walking together and he's telling him about, who is it, Sidious?
Wait, no, when Palpatine was talking about, no, it couldn't have been about Sidious.
No, he was talking. No, he was talking about the guy who can bring people back to life. He was talking about
Darth Plagueis.
That's yeah. There we go.
So in the chat, they're calling them Space Emmys or Space Oscars. So if you listen to the podcast version, again, another reason to flip over to the YouTube is we stream these every Monday night, but you can check out what these Should I Have Bought This look like. So it's 2 of them. They're both gold. They're different for sure. And reading from the Wikipedia, the 4 sages of Dwarti, and the names, the 4 of them, were a group of contentious philosophers and lawgivers for the early days of the modern Galactic Republic, who had great influence on its early constitution. At some point, when the Sith dominated the galaxy, a number of statues representing the 4 sages were made. And then it says that's Palpatine kept statues of the 4 sages in his office and chambers on Coruscant. So, dude, this is a deep cut.
That's deep. And did he get all 4? Or did he just get 2?
He said he only bought a pair. So I don't know if he already has a pair or if he's going to go back and get a pair. And so he bought 2. It said also there's a light up feature on the base. So see that little, what they're standing on? That lights up, which is pretty badass.
Okay.
And he said it was $80 for the pair, but he only paid $60 because he had some gift cards from work. $60. I personally respect the shit out of it because it's not like, and don't get me wrong, I have Vader and Yoda stuff and like, you know, very surface level Star Wars stuff, which I like and I have. This is like,
you got to know some fucking Star Wars.
You got to know your fucking Star Wars. Like, this separates the fringe Star Wars people from the diehards.
And for me, one of the things that would annoy me and why I'm going to give it a no is I would have to fucking hate explaining every single time someone came in my house what those were.
That's true. It's not an easy explanation. I had to go to Wikipedia to help break it down.
Right.
All right, I'm going to say yes. Let's go to the chat here. The first few that pop up, yes or no, $80. He only paid 60, so let's call it 60. He had free money. So
and also he doesn't have all four. If you had all four, if you paid 80 for all four, like
true,
$20 a piece, that would be something. But
true. So 60. Okay, you're right. He only has 2. They do light up. I don't know how heavy they are. There's a question in the chat. How heavy are they? I don't know. I can't tell if they're like really kind of light and hollow or not. But if they light up, they must have like a battery pack or something underneath them, which would give them some. Well,
you could use it. Yeah.
Unfortunately, Ryan, the people have spoken.
Get the fuck out of here!
Not unanimous, but it was mainly no. So
it was a split decision.
50-50 there, Mike. Thank you so much for sending those in. We got a yes on the saber lightsaber or the Darth.
I love the Vader lightsaber. Yeah.
The Sages of Dwarti thing though is like
That's
I have such a respect for items that nobody else would have.
I do too, but like again, you don't have all four, and you're gonna have to fucking explain to everybody what that is. They're gonna be like, "Oh, what's that? Did you win like an award or something?"
No, I know, but like I was the same way for the most part with my like basketball and football jersey collection.
Yeah.
I was going after like niche guys. Like if I went to a game, nobody else was going to have a fucking Eric Metcalf jersey. I would be the only guy with the Eric Metcalf jersey on.
And the one year, what were those Nike shoes that had like the Velcro straps that crossed in like an X?
Oh, were they basketball shoes or were they like?
They were like cross training shoes. And I can't fucking remember what they were called. They were ugly as shit. But I was the one year I didn't get Jordans and I got those.
I had the Air Bacons one year.
I remember you had those, yeah.
I think Mitch Richmond wore those. Those were some gnarly looking shoes. Not a lot of people had the Mitch Richmonds.
So I just looked it up. They were the Nike Air Raid OG.
All right, I'll check those out.
Yeah, I had those. They were like cross training shoes, and I bought those, and I thought they were super cool.
And the rest is history.
I was like, I should have got fucking Jordans.
Yeah, Jordans still hold up. I need to get another good pair. I've been wearing out my Donovan Mitchells a lot, so I got to find another.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep mine. They clean though.
Oh, they clean. I mean, they ain't 20s.
They ain't 20s. They tans, but they clean. They're actually 10.5, but they clean though.
Oh, that is sharp.
Yeah.
That's a sharp Spider Mitchell.
Yeah,
shoe right there. All right, that was a good shit. I bought this. Ryan, let's get to the next thing.
It's time for Davey's video game minute, even if it takes more than a minute.
All right, Ryan, I believe you have some news.
I do.
Video game news.
Oh, yeah. Always brought to you by our friends at Wild Bill Soda. Go to drinkwildbills.com. Use the promo code Ron Von D. Get yourself 20% off.
That's
same
the
thing.
idea, the whole segment.
That's the whole idea. It's the whole, like, you have news. I'm like, wait.
Well, I have something I really want to ask you about this week, but I'll let you begin.
So ask me now.
All right. So my thing that really jumped out to me was this Nintendo Switch news and the ability of me, just a modest Switch owner, and the ability to soon play N64 and Sega Genesis games and maybe even get those controllers.
Not only that, okay, so that the caveat with that is it's a new subscription. So you're going to have to add on to your Nintendo Direct subscription. I don't know how much it's going to be. They didn't say, but it's an added thing. So you're going to get a bunch of N64 games, including Ocarina of Time, Mario 64, Star Fox 64, and then eventually they're going to have they announced 2 other games that are coming soon. And I can't remember them off the top of my head, but they were Majora's Mask is one of them, and F-Zero was the other one. So all of these games are going to be available on N64. So that is super cool. Then they added, you're going to get all these Sega Genesis games as well.
I love the Sega Genesis.
I know you do. There's no Toe Jam and Earl. I said you're going to be pissed. And no Eternal Champions.
No, I know that sucks, but
you get Golden Axe, you get Sonic and Sonic 2, you get a bunch of like Streets of Rage, something like really cool games. So Altered Beast was like the first Genesis game I ever played, and I thought in my mind, like, video games are never going to get any better than this.
This is the top. Yeah,
this is it.
I know.
So I'm really excited for this. I don't know how much it's going to be, but then they have these $45 to $50 controllers that are wireless controllers. an N64 and a Sega Genesis controller, which I think is really smart because a lot of those N64 games you can't play really on a regular controller. Like they weren't made for that. So like if I would have a really hard time playing Ocarina of Time on anything but an N64 controller.
Yeah, because I have like the emulator and I have a bunch of those games and I have it for the I just use like my PlayStation controller and it's like some of them are fine and then others you're right. You're like, this doesn't really.
Yeah, like that Mario jump where you like squat, like you hit the trigger and jump, you do that like super long jump. It's really hard to do with a different controller.
Yeah.
If they get GoldenEye for this, I'm going to pull the trigger on it. I'm going to play some GoldenEye because one of the great things about this is now with all of you can play local and online multiplayer with these games now.
Pretty cool.
Which is pretty cool. So if someone drops NBA Jam and we can play NBA Jam online.
Now, I doubt they would be able to. Yeah, right. NBA Jam would be one. And I doubt they'd be able to do it, though, because of like copyrights and stuff. But what if they dropped WrestleMania 2000?
Oh,
like the fuck, that God, that Christ.
I don't think I'd ever leave the house.
No.
Oh, could you imagine? We get Red Wolf back?
No, we can't invite Shark, right? We could not fair. Red Wolf wasn't fair.
Red Wolf was not fair. He make you cry. So that's great. But the other thing, so they had this whole Nintendo Direct thing. So there's going to be a new open world Kirby game, which is another thing they announced. My kids are excited because they love Kirby. I don't know why.
Why not?
He's just a little pink blob, right?
Yeah.
Bayonetta 3, which is just like sexy Devil May Cry, which is cool. I played the original Bayonetta, not Bayonetta 2. Game's fine. Splatoon 3, fine. Okay, another like multiplayer game if you like that. Not my kind of cup of tea. They have a new Castlevania Advance, like all the advanced system not the next gen, but what they call advanced systems. So like Super Nintendo, Genesis, N64 Castlevania games are available already. So that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
We saw a little bit more of Metroid Dread, which comes out next week, which I will absolutely be buying and playing. It's the new side-scrolling Metroid game.
Yeah, no, I know you're a big Metroid guy.
I am. So that was kind of like Nintendo Direct, and obviously my wife is really excited because there is more. They're doing a standalone live show just for Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing.
Oh my God!
So they have their own live event just for Animal Crossing, and that's coming in this month in Small Dick Fall, and then they're going to roll out the new content during pie season. So she's all excited.
A busy couple of months.
It's a busy couple of months in the Davey household. So
now, I've never played Animal Crossing. Is it a game that you can beat, or does it go forever?
You cannot beat this game.
Okay.
If you can, my wife would have done it several times over.
I figure.
Yep.
Who is this versus?
Who are we doing this versus? And someone in the Job Shattuck said I would slide into Samus Aran's DMs. I definitely beat Super Metroid. And now I think if you beat it in under an hour, remember like at the end of the game, like she would take the suit off and you would see her in like a bikini.
Oh yeah.
Definitely did that. Definitely did that. So yes,
big
I would. And then Rich, so Overwatch 2 sneaky came out. They had these developer notes where they were talking about all these character reworks that they were doing, and the two characters that they featured, Bastion is completely reworked, if you can believe that. And so, so his big update now, his ultimate is different. He's not the tank anymore. He actually turns into like a mortar gun, and you can pick 3 spots on the map to like hit with like mortar shells.
Oh, I don't know if I like that.
But his turret mode, you can move now.
Okay.
So you go in the turret and you're standing still. Now you can move.
Okay.
So, and there's no more self-healing for him.
Ooh, that was a nice feature.
That was a nice feature, but it was a little too much for him.
He was like pretty, like he was tough.
If you get him buried in a corner somewhere with a shield, that was too much.
He was pretty.
Or on top of like a payload. And the other one, surprisingly, was Sombra. So Sombra is going to have a bunch of new things. Like hacking is going to be way easier.
Yeah.
Hacked characters are now going to show up. You can see them now through walls. And if she shoots a hacked character, it does like 40% more damage.
Yeah, I saw that she's going to be, I would assume like the competitive like uprising in the like they're gonna pick up her. Like they just
Oh yeah,
they
need to push. Oh, and the other thing too about Bastion is his rate of fire is slower, but there's no spread.
Okay.
So instead of being like it's like boom, 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 but there's no kick. So it's like super accurate. So you can actually use him as like a mid-long range sniper.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a decent run with him for a bit, but I don't. This doesn't sound like I would adjust well to this. It's not how I would play with him. But anyway,
so the last bit of news I have is the
Right.
Guardians of the Galaxy game, which is sneaky coming out in like 2-3 weeks.
Mhm.
They just dropped the soundtrack of this game. Fucking incredible.
Very nice.
Incredible. So in addition to having like the Star-Lord band that has like 6 original songs,
Yeah.
Motley Crue, Rick Astley, Flock of Seagulls, like the ultimate 80s mix for a video game. They got the licenses to all these games. It is going to absolutely rip. By the way, the Motley Crue song they're using is Kickstart My Heart, which is lovely. Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up.
Oh, that's
Flock
good.
of Seagulls. I had the list in front of me. I got to bring it back up again. But
So
like,
I
this
saw.
game- yeah, keep going.
I saw Wes the Wheelman ask you on Twitter if you would put out like a monthly Spotify playlist as the Dork Shared Universe
Yeah, and so
music expert.
I'm trying to do that in like I'm trying to do it in like categories.
Yeah.
So I want to do like a monthly thing where I do like my pick for like this genre. So like first
Yeah.
one, like for instance, like singer-songwriters. That's like my first one. And then it's gonna be like prog metal or like
I'm in.
you're in on that. Or we're
that'd
gonna
be
do
Tweet that out or whatever you need.
okay. Ready?
like it. Yeah.
I ran Flock of Seagulls.
Love it.
Take on Me by Aha.
Love it.
Turn Up the Radio, Autograph. You know,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
the radio. Yeah.
I love it.
White Wedding.
Love it.
Call Me by Blondie.
Love it.
Don't Fear the Reaper.
Love it.
Don't Worry, Be Happy.
Love it. Oh, we're
Holding
playing
out-
that tonight for little CC Beans. Yeah.
Holding Out for a Hero from Footloose.
Oh,
I'm holding out for a hero till the end of the night.
I think that one would wear on me over time, but overall I do like it.
How about I'll Tumble For You by Culture Club?
I actually love it. Yeah.
Yeah, Relax, Frank. So what happens is once you throw an ultimate, they do like a huddle. Does the team will huddle up and
they
there's like
play
an
teams?
ultimate attack, and then one of these songs plays.
I like it.
Hit Me With Your Best Shot, Hanging Tough, New Kids on the Block.
I like both.
Dude, come on. Like this game's going to be awesome. And they did another showcase too that showed and people were like, they didn't get like you. They were very skeptical of like playing as one character.
Yeah.
They were like, I don't really like the idea of playing just as Star-Lord.
No.
But they said it plays like if you played the Final Fantasy VII remake, where you technically are one person, but you control everybody else. It works the same way. So it's I am optimistic. And the person who was reviewing it said, or had like an hour with it, said, I was skeptical of it too, but by the end I was sold. Like it actually works.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely sounds like it's worth giving it a go, but all right, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that is the Davies Video Game Minute, brought to you by our friends at Wild Bill Soda. Go to drinkwildbills.com. Use the promo code Ron Von D. Get yourself 20% off soda. Keep us at the top of the leaderboard for Wild Bill's partners. We are the best decision they've ever made. Let's keep it that way.
That's right. And it was also thanks to all of you guys who Wild Bills a while ago was like, hey, we need a new partner. Any suggestions? And everybody flooded them with R Von D.
Yes,
and it's worked out
they did.
very well. Ryan, I got a question for you. A very
Hit me.
simple question.
Y'all ready for bisque?
We haven't gotten there yet?
Well, I'm glad you asked because it's the topic of the day. And today it is non-MCU Marvel movies, as this Friday, Venom, Let There Be Carnage comes out. And as much as they would love to be in the MCU, and as much as they're trying to tease you that they might have Tom Holland, I don't think they will. This seems like a this is like a Sony-verse type of movie. So here's the deal. We are going to go through a list of movies that feature Marvel characters, but are not in the Marvel Cinematic Universe yet.
Yes.
Because I think we have a feeling that there's going to be at least a handful of these that do somehow get tied in to the MCU. But there were movies being made long before Iron Man that featured our favorite characters that were, either Stan Lee or Jack Kirby creations. And it's really, really hit or miss.
Oh,
There's some very, very, very good, some of my favorites of all time, and then some of the worst movies ever made. And because the list is already long enough, we are not going to include the direct-to-video ones, like the Dolph Lundgren Punisher.
or like the canceled
Fantastic
Canon
Four.
Pictures
Yeah.
Fantastic Four or Spider-Man that they were going to do.
Like a lot of those ones that a lot of people haven't even seen anyway. There's like an Avengers, there's a Fantastic Four. We're not doing those. We're gonna go through them. I think I have a list of 33.
Like it's a lot. Like it's way more than you think.
It's a pile. Yeah, it's an absolute pile. And again, we could say, the good, the bad, the fine, or we could say that they're great. Let's go in order of their release, and then I also ranked them, so I can rip through my rankings at the end.
Yes.
But let's go through the order of release and just talk about them. So, believe it or not, the very first live action, because again, we also eliminated the animated, the first live action movie starring a Marvel character was 1986's Howard the Duck.
And again, we're skipping the TV movie, the Captain America movie and all that shit. The first major theatrical release for Marvel Pictures, or not, it wasn't Marvel Pictures at the time. It was actually George Lucas.
Yeah.
Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck in 1986, which was really a piece of crap. And it's not even, to me, it's not even like a cult classic or like an old-timey favorite, at least for me. Like, I don't think it's one that's worth going back and watching.
No, unless you want to see some like animated or like some puppeteer duck boobies.
Yep,
there's duck boobies in this movie. Yeah,
there's duck boobs, and I think the character I don't like the TV show What If, but Howard the Duck has been a pretty good character in What If.
Yes,
including this week's episode. But overall, I have very little use for this movie. So let's just jump right ahead to the next one. There's way more to talk about. I do find it funny though, like the first. You think about all these characters now, and one of the knocks that a lot of people have, including like the Martin Scorsese's of the world, it's just that it's all it is Marvel movies and popcorn movies and all these characters that are so popular. Yet the first two movies that Hollywood really went to was Howard the Duck and then 1998's Blade. Like those are not Marvel characters. Like if you're just like, hey, name a Marvel character, it would take me like 100 to probably to get to Blade, and then
200 more to get to Howard the Duck.
Correct.
Yeah.
And yet Blade starring Wesley Snipes in 1998 is an awesome movie.
And probably one of the best opening scenes of a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
With that song, I can hear it in my head right now. There's no change in the song. It's the same thing for like 20 minutes, but I'll listen to all 20 minutes of it.
I love it. And I like vampires, first of all. I like, as it turns out, half vampires. Wesley Snipes, especially in 98, he put on all that fucking weight. He was jacked to the gills. He was perfect for that role. And it was just really, really cool. Like the action scenes, because I'm trying to think, Matrix and Fight Club came out in 99.
Yep.
So we started, like, that was when it really kind of pushed forward with like fight scenes and everything. But if you go back, even 98 Blade, there were some pretty good like fight action blood scenes. I was all in, man. I love Blade, and I cannot wait for the Mahershala Ali tie-in to the MCU when they're bringing Blade back.
No, and this was a movie, like you said, it kind of set the precedent for like other action movies moving forward, that you could be dark and it could be, there was a lot of leather. You know what I mean? I feel like The Matrix came out the year after, but like there was a lot of like, if you look at it, I mean, it's kind of the same look, the same vibe.
Yeah.
And one of the most poorly delivered lines in Blade is the last thing he says when he's like fighting Steven Dorff. And it makes no sense in the context, but I remember like, he's like, right before he kicks the spike like into his head, or like the whatever, like he's like, some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill. Like, what does that mean?
You can't do it.
What does that mean?
I mean, he's on to something.
Like, you know, like there's like those hero quips. Like you could tell like Wesley Snipes like really wanted to add that in somewhere.
It's a money line. I'm putting it in there.
And they're like, it doesn't really make sense. He's like, I'm saying it.
I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna do whatever I want, and I'm gonna be a real pill on set apparently for all three of these movies.
Yes.
But I don't think this movie, and not to go overboard, I think it's one of the more underrated comic book movies of all time. It's also maybe the most forgotten, because think about the commentary we got for Black Panther, and justifiably so. Black Panther's a great movie, and everything about it was awesome. And to have a hero for that wasn't just like a normal like white guy like all the other heroes were. It was really important. And then all the commentary about Luke Cage, and it was almost like, well, actually, the first real Marvel movie that kind of launched all this was a black superhero. Now, I guess the line is he's half vampire. He's not squeaky clean. He's kind of working on the fringes a little bit, sort of like a darker character. But I don't know that people kind of just like fast forward past Blade, and they really shouldn't.
But it was really cool because there was an interview I saw. He was on like a panel with like Chadwick Boseman, and he said, they were like, what's it like to, be like the first, black superhero in a leading role? And he was like, actually, Wesley Snipes did this way before I did. Like, he actually mentioned Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
Which
he was the man.
Class guy. I mean, he was just like, hang on. Like, before you say that I'm the first to do anything, like, that's not true. Yep. So, and he was very quick to point out Wesley Snipes. So,
yeah, for sure.
Because that guy's just a fucking class act.
So I loved it. I loved Blade. So then you had to wait 2 years later. In 2000, you get the first X-Men movie.
And I remember being in a dormitory room with you, and the casting news about this came out. Remember, it was like the very first day, like time of like the internet, and I was like, we were reading about it, and I remember looking at you and saying these words: "Who the fuck is Hugh Jackman?"
Yeah, we were pissed. We're like, Wolverine's the man. Like, we both grew up on the cartoon.
Like, who the fuck is Hugh Jackman? Like, what is this?
I didn't like. I hated that again before I even saw the movie.
Yeah,
and then I also wasn't thrilled with Anna Paquin as Rogue, because I was so used to the animated series Rogue, who's older. Not that it matters, hotter, but like it just and like the Rogue Gambit interplay. I loved that.
There was no Gambit. They were like, there's no Gambit. But I remember the first two castings we read was like, Patrick Stewart is playing Charles Xavier, and we're like, awesome. And they're like, Halle Berry is playing Storm, and you're like, fuck yeah. And they're like, Hugh Jackman. We're like, who the fuck is Hugh Jackman?
Know who this is. And so I was pissed about that.
Yeah.
But it really is, for a movie that came out 21 years ago, I think really good. I think the Professor X Magneto stuff is awesome. And they really lay on the why Magneto does what he does, and why he might be the best Marvel villain when it all comes down to it. Has one of the best backstories. And they went away from the suits, and they went with like the black leather stuff. I think they thought
black leather in the early 2000s, late 90s was the thing. Yeah.
Because I think they were a little afraid. They were like, this is going to look a little silly if we just go with like because whereas now it's way more acceptable. Like if a character wore the suit from like the 90s or the 80s, you'd be like, that's cool. Like, all right, wear that.
Especially if someone like designed it specifically for like there's always like there's like the inside joke, like when it was a Days of Future Past, when they show him the crate with the helmet in it, he's like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. So you kind of lean on it a little bit, but to me, a really good start. X-Men, I also feel like was either the first or second DVD I ever owned in my life. I think it was like X-Men and Gladiator were like the first two DVDs I ever owned. Loved it. So that was like a pretty good start. Like, all right, maybe comic book movies can be a thing, because I understand that like Batman 89 came out and there were all those Batman movies, but if you're looking at Marvel characters, this is the ground floor. Blade, X-Men, 2002, you get Blade 2,
which is my favorite Blade movie, by the way.
Yeah, it's great.
It's Guillermo del Toro. Like, it's fucking awesome.
It is fucking awesome.
And you can see they have those like different vampires that, if you read his book, the Strain books with him and like Chuck Hogan did.
Yeah.
So the vampires that like the tongue like darts out, like their mouth opens and the thing like like that. If you read his Strain books, like that's exactly what the vampires do in those books. And that movie, the creature design was fucking awesome. I love Blade 2.
Would you call either Blade or Blade 2, would you call either one of them horror movies?
I think Blade 2 gets real close.
Yeah, thinking back, we probably should have had that in our top 50 horror
Mhm.
movies. It's better than some of the movies that made the list. I guess it just comes down to what would you classify it as.
Yeah. And I honestly, like, out of the 3 Blade movies, Blade 2 is my favorite.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't blame you. I like the first one slightly more, but they're like give or take the first 2.
Mhm.
Also in 2002, Ryan, this is for you. We finally get our first live action, legitimate box office Spider-Man.
I don't think I can't think of a time where I was more excited to go to the movie theater than to see Spider-Man. Like, this was something that I was a freshman in college. I was obviously a huge Spider-Man fan, and I went with a roommate of mine who was another huge Spider-Man fan. And so we went together, and it was just a fucking blast. And I knew Sam Raimi was directing it, and I can't tell you how many times I've watched Evil Dead and Army of Darkness and all those movies, and just a huge fan. And it was like, I don't think I'm now looking back on it, is it the best Spider-Man movie made? No. But just the joy I felt going to that movie and seeing that shit on screen was life-changing. A little too dramatic, but it was like a formative experience for me.
Yeah, and when they put him in once they got the real costume, like that was so cool. Like they pulled that part of it off. And Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin is so good. I didn't love Tobey Maguire, but I guess it could have been worse.
It could have been worse, but in my mind, I mean, he was the right frame, the right size, just a little old. I just thought he was a little old to do it, but
right. And especially now that we've seen Tom Holland, it looks even worse. But but at least you had that. So that was Spider-Man 2002. 2003, they put out 3 movies. You get Ben Affleck's Daredevil, you get the sequel to X-Men, X2, and you get Eric Bana's Hulk movie. So this is where I think, let's face it, the first 4, if you kind of put Howard the Duck aside, the first 4 are all good to great. Blade, X-Men, Blade 2, Spider-Man. Awesome. Daredevil,
dump.
I don't hate as much as other people hate it. I really don't. But I know that it's not a great movie. No. I know that it's not. A lot of Evanescence songs.
Yeah.
X2 is excellent.
Incredible.
And you mentioned opening scenes. The Nightcrawler opening scene in X2.
Unbelievable.
Still holds up.
And was it Alan Cumming as Kurt Wagner was a perfect casting. Perfect casting. Yeah.
Crushed it. And I'm kind of pissed they didn't do more with him. They dropped the ball there. And then Hulk, I didn't like. I didn't like Eric Bana Hulk. I know.
Yeah, the Ang Lee Hulk was. I liked it. It was just so not a Hulk movie. It was. Yeah. It was weird.
I didn't.
Super weird. I love Jennifer Connelly, so I'm never going to say a bad word about this movie. But yeah,
not for me. Kind of a letdown. 2004, we get The Punisher with Thomas Jane, Spider-Man 2, and Blade Trinity.
I would say you have 2 goods and a great there.
I agree with you. Blade Trinity gets shit on. I like it. I like it too. Good. You get Ryan Reynolds in there. You get Jessica Biel in there.
Find me a better hot person 1-2 punch than prime time Ryan Reynolds and Jessica Biel in that movie.
No, and apparently, like, this is the movie that Wesley Snipes get kind of pissed because, like, he wasn't like the super center of attention. I still think it's good, and I would never call it a guilty pleasure because, you know me, Ryan, I don't really have guilty pleasures.
You're not guilty about anything.
What I like.
Yeah,
but it's one of those ones where I understand that it gets really bad reviews. I like it. I owned it. I think I owned the whole Blade trilogy. Like, I liked all these movies. This one's clearly not as good as the first 2, but it's kind of funny. You get Dracula. I think that might have been where their biggest misstep was. Like, the casting of the Dracula was not great. Like, he wasn't a very good Dracula. The Punisher, it's a little disappointing because Punisher's one of my favorite characters. And then, especially looking back on it now, I think John Bernthal did such an incredible job on the TV show.
Nailed it.
That Thomas Jane wasn't going to be as good, but it was still fine. It was still like, it was still a fine pun. It was okay.
John Travolta as the bad guy too is a real misstep.
Yeah.
There,
so that one might be lower than good.
Yeah.
But then Spider-Man 2, I know it's one of your favorites with you get Doc Ock
Jesus
in there.
Christ, is that so good?
Yeah.
It's so good they're bringing everyone back.
And that's the thing. And that's why we said it's not in the MCU yet, because this one's definitely coming in.
Yeah.
All right, 2005, Ryan. They go Elektra with Jennifer Garner, And Fantastic Four gets their first live action. This is again Jessica Alba, Chris Evans, Michael Chiklis, the other dude, and
whose name I can't pronounce for some reason. He has like a really weird name.
yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Elektra might be one of the worst movies ever made.
I don't understand. I think this movie was greenlit prior to like even Daredevil coming out. Like they said they were going to do this. And I was reading something when preparing for this that like Jennifer Garner was like contractually obligated to do this.
Yeah.
But wanted no part of it.
The worst thing I heard was, so I remember seeing it in the theater and then being like, what the fuck was that? And then finding out later, because Ben Affleck's Daredevil is not in the movie at all.
No.
At all. Or referenced. And they apparently shot a scene with him and the two of them, and it like kind of makes more sense as to what she's doing and like the relationship they still have. But they like cut the Ben Affleck scene. But they shot one for the movie.
And weren't they married at the time? Or like they were definitely dating because they were married for a long time.
Yeah, I mean they probably started going out when they filmed these movies.
Yeah.
But and then Fantastic Four is just, it's not a complete dump, but it's not very good. And one of the knocks on it is Chris Evans and Jessica Alba's characters are supposed to be brother sister, and most of the scenes that are in it looks like they've never met each other. It's like their chemistry is not great.
No.
All right, so you follow up those turd sandwiches with 2006 X-Men: The Last Stand,
which is also a turd sandwich.
Also in the running for worst movie ever. They're like, we're gonna turn this into the Wolverine Storm show, and we're gonna literally kill off other characters and just be like, and we're gonna try to like sneaky do the Dark Phoenix saga, but not
really. We're not gonna lean all the way into it. We're gonna like flirt with it a little bit and maybe tease it for later, but then never do it again.
Yeah,
we'll then do it. We'll then do it again and then fuck it up again.
We're officially in the comic book movies make money phase.
Yes.
So 2007, you get Ghost Rider with Nicolas Cage, Spider-Man 3.
Not as bad as people say it is.
I hate it. And Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Also not as bad as people say it is.
I'm with you on that one. That one's passable compared to the other two.
Yes.
I'm really nothing to say. Spider-Man 3 to me is just so awkward, and they shoehorn in too many villains, and it was sort of like you can't do Venom, Sandman,
and the other Green Goblin. Like
the other Green Goblin. You can't do them all.
No.
You can't do them all.
You gotta pick a lane.
And then Ghost Rider was just like,
Ghost Rider. Jesus Christ.
Come on. Frustrating.
How bad was that? Yeah.
2008, you got Punisher Warzone. So they tried to like up it a little bit with like intensity and blood. Not bad. Not
the guy, I forget, he's an Australian guy. He fit the bill. It's the guy who's played Titus Pullo in Rome. He was in The Other Guys, the big Australian guy. Pretty good.
His name is
Ray Stevenson. Yep.
Yeah,
I thought this was decent.
I didn't hate this. I did think Dominic West played Jigsaw in this.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so I like The Wire. Obviously, I love The Wire. Dominic West is good in The Wire. He goes so far over the top in this. It's like kind of hard to watch.
It's kind of hard to watch. And they have, what is the guy they call the Russian, the fight with the Russian? The guy in like the red and white striped shirt.
No, that was the first one, I think.
Was that the first one?
Yeah, that was Diesel. That was Kevin Nash. Okay, Thomas Jane fights the Russian. This one, he's going after Jigsaw. Okay. Yeah.
But you know what I really liked was the Punisher costume in this, because he had like the slick, not push back, but the slick back hair.
You think this is slicked back? This is pushed back.
So I love the like the body armor look with like the big collar.
Yeah,
like that was pretty badass.
Yeah, he looked the part.
Yeah.
2009, you get X-Men Origins Wolverine, which was so bad they punted on the whole Origins franchise. They were going to do Origins Magneto, Origins like other characters. It was so bad.
Gambit.
They almost ruined Deadpool. They did have Gambit.
Yep.
And like, what a fucking cast. So you have Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. You have Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, but you make him mute. And you had
the guy who never shuts the fuck up. You make him mute.
Right. And you had Tim Riggins playing Gambit,
who should have been great in that he should have been great.
Oh, that movie should have been awesome, and it's unwatchable.
Ugh. It
What a
looks
mess.
like instead of Gambit being badass, like he throws cards, it looks like a fucking magic trick. Like it's just so disappointing, you know.
Thank you, Josh, in the chat. He just reminded me, how the hell are we talking about X-Men Origins Wolverine without introducing a little bit of that? Because
give me the short, quick one.
It was so bad. I should have had these all lined up for a whole bunch of these. All right, so 2011, actually, you get two different ends of the spectrum. You get X-Men First Class, very, very good, and then you get Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance.
Oh.
So
First Class is pretty fucking awesome.
First Class was great, and it was so good because it came out 5 years after Last Stand, and you're like, oh, that might have killed the X-Men franchise. And then this comes out, and you're like, oh, ooh. And the casting is great with Fassbender and McAvoy.
And the only thing that it sucks is they kill, what's his name? Basically, they kill off somebody who can't be killed. I forget. Who was it? And I have to look it up now.
Got it. But that brought in so much juice. And at that time, you didn't know they were going to tie it into the first trilogy. You had no idea. Like, oh, this is a separate thing, and that's fine. Like, whatever. I'll pick it up and I'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
January Jones was really good in this as Emma Frost.
Yeah. Let me see. It was, who did they kill? Seeing Azazel was cool. I really like that. Darwin, the mutant Darwin.
Oh, okay.
He really can't be killed, and they somehow managed to kill
found
him.
a way to do it. 2012, you get the reboot, Ryan, The Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield.
Now,
it's pretty forgettable in the grand scheme of things, but when it came out, I remember thinking, I don't hate this.
I didn't hate it, and again, here's where you have Andrew Garfield, who is the right look, the right age, too tall. So, like, in my mind, like, Peter Parker is like 16 years old.
Yep.
And he is 5'10". Like,
yeah.
I think Andrew Garfield is like 6'2". So it's like,
oh yeah.
But like he has a great look.
Yeah.
To be a Spider-Man, and even his voice, like the sound of his voice. They say Andrew Garfield's 5'10", but he doesn't look 5'10".
Yeah, but I would even go smaller for Spider-Man. I think he could be like a 5'8".
Yeah. But
you know?
I think Andrew Garfield he's long. He's got like he's long necked.
Yeah, he's very thin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's thin. But I remember thinking that one was pretty good. You got Emma Stone in there, and it was like, all right, this is a pretty good movie. 2013, only one of these non-MCU, because again, I should have mentioned back when Punisher Warzone came out, 2008 was when Iron Man came out. So a lot of these kind of ran unopposed for a while. But as soon as 2008 came out, a lot of these now are coming out the same year as MCU movies, which are only picking up steam. Obviously, there's now 25 of them and counting, and they're all super popular at this point. So 2013, the only non-Marvel MCU movie is The Wolverine, which I thought was a really good movie. There's no like real tie-in to any kind of like shared universe or like other X-Men characters, but as a standalone, it's pretty good.
And they make mention of like other, so like that's the there's like these weird flies around this room right now. I had my window open, so like these weird like gnats. It's weird. Anyway, decent like kind of standalone Wolverine story. You know, going to Japan and what's his son's name?
Yeah, I liked it.
So it kind of like hints at the fact that Wolverine might at some point have a kid.
Yeah.
You know, but again, one of the things that I really thought sucked about this was that the Silver Samurai shows up in like the last 10 minutes of the movie.
Kind of didn't. Yeah, I waited too long to get to it.
Yeah, and even then, it was like 10 minutes, and then he's done.
Yeah,
that was a huge buildup for nothing. But I thought Viper was really good.
Yeah, and Hugh Jackman was never this jacked. Holy
my God,
smokes, the guy was absolutely piped. 2014. Again, to me, you get very, very good and very, very bad. Very, very good. X-Men Days of Future Past. I loved it. Yeah. Don't think too hard. Not everything, it could be kind of complicated or it might not all hold up, but I loved it. And then you also got The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which to me sucked.
speaking of trying to shoehorn too many villains into one movie, Jesus Christ. That was, but I would say one of my favorite Spider-Man movie cinematic scenes is the one where the little kid jumps the police barricade and the Rhino's like charging at him and he's like doing the thing with his wrist and then the real Spider-Man shows up and talks to the kid. I thought that was awesome. But
that's good. But I would put Jamie Foxx's Electro up there with Dominic West's Jigsaw as
he's fucking bringing it back. They're bringing it back.
I'm hoping for like a second. Just because it's Jamie Foxx and then it's gone and it's out of there. So Days of Future Past, I love, still one of my favorites, and it's because they did the impossible. You're like, I thought First Class was its own thing. I thought the original trilogy was its own thing, and they're like, nope. Where it's all related, it's all together. Incredible.
And fucking what a great job they did with it too. Yeah. And again, Hugh Jackman was fucking awesome. Peter Dinklage was great as Bolivar Trask. By the way, right down the street from me, there's a building, a nondescript building, like a mile from me, and it just says Trask on the side of the building.
Oh, really?
I don't want to go in there.
You gotta take a picture and post it to the.
I will.
Like,
it's like on Route 9 though, so it's hard to like.
Oh, I got
there.
Yeah,
but I'll pull in one time when I have some time and take a picture of it.
All right, 2015, we got Fantastic Four.
Fanforstic.
And the only reason they made this was because they were going to lose the rights if they didn't. And so they made.
And you could absolutely tell.
I've already said this a few times, but this might very well be the worst movie on the entire list or of all comic book movies.
Ruined Josh Trank's career, I think.
It ruined Josh
Trank. He was like an up and comer. I saw, was it the movie Chronicle that he made? Which was fucking great. It's a non comic book house superhero movie, right?
This was so bad. Yes. Yeah.
And he just wrote it himself, and it was like a sleeper hit. And Michael B. Jordan.
I was gonna say, how do you fuck up a Michael B. Jordan movie?
Oh, and you hear stories that come out of this filming now, and people were like, "This is bull." Once they said that Jamie Bell was going to be playing the Thing, I was like, "How the fuck are you going to do that?"
No, that was really bad casting. And then, like you mentioned in the Wolverine movie, kind of saving a good villain till the end. We got Dr. Doom for like 4 minutes.
Yeah,
like what?
Like you moving ahead, like. What are we doing? Where is Dr. Doom?
Yeah,
like, that's one of the people in the MCU that we need in the MCU.
Well, don't you assume they'll just wait for Fantastic Four, which is coming sort of at the back end of Phase 4?
I hope so. Because that's like the main villain of Fantastic Four is Dr. Doom.
Yeah, but they should probably introduce him in like an end credits to like whatever Ant-Man.
But there's also he has run-ins with everybody, including like the X-Men. So if they reboot X-Men.
Yeah,
like he's going to show up there too.
Yep. Or he should work with like Kang the Conqueror or like something like that.
Something like that.
Mess everything up.
Yeah.
All right, 2016. Again, good and bad. Deadpool.
Fucking awesome.
An absolute breath of fresh air, Deadpool.
And what I loved about this was, remember that Ryan Reynolds did some like thing where they kept talking about bringing back Deadpool, and he shot that opening scene. And the movie wasn't even in production, but they shot that opening scene.
Yeah.
And it was fucking incredible. And it was such a no-brainer after that. Like, people kept asking for it. It was the very first time I remember that Marvel being like, give them what they want.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like, this doesn't get made without Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds was full on board behind this, and it proved that you can do both rated R and you can do very much comedy within a comic book movie and make it work.
And that was the thing. If you're looking at these movies leading up to this, how seriously these movies were taking themselves. Like, and at some point you got to be like, cut the shit. This is comic books. Like, let's have some fun.
And then conversely, X-Men Apocalypse comes out and you're like, oh man, like you had First Class, Days of Future Past, then Apocalypse. To me, it's very, very similar to how the X-Men and the first Spider-Man trilogy ended. You had X-Men X2 and then Last Stand. You had Spider-Man 2, and then the third one fucking horrible.
Right.
Same thing here. Although apparently it's not even the end of the trilogy because we're going to get to another one here coming up. But 2017 though, Ryan, Logan.
One of my top 10 favorite movies of all time.
Agreed. Without spoiling the list, to me, it is the best non-MCU Marvel movie by far.
It's not close.
Yeah.
It is not close. I mean, this movie is, and again, I mean, you make your comparison to like an old Western or Shane or something like that, but like they even mentioned Shane in the movie.
Yes.
Or like cool, or like
oh yeah, the
Josie Wales
texter was like he was all about Shane, but fine.
And that's fine. Like it was a little on the nose, but just to end those characters that way, perfect.
And the action fight scenes
from the very first one, you're like, okay, like this is what we've been fucking waiting for.
I couldn't believe it. Like I still remember being in the theater watching it. I loved it. I was because that's what it is. It's the violence of Wolverine, but when he's old, so he's not like everything proof anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, like so he's taking the shots, but he's also giving them out. And then you have little X-23 jumping on dudes, cutting their heads off.
So the two things that I think I said, holy shit, in the theater. The one he punched the guy in the chin and then extended the close up, went like up his out. You could see it like in his mouth and like out of his head. And then, I was like, fuck yeah. And then when Laura throws the head out at the guy.
So good.
Oh, so good. And just like how about the most dangerous person in that movie, the fucking senile Professor X.
Yeah.
Like that was crazy.
So that backstory. The only thing that it was missing, being a big fan of the Old Man Logan comic, and they couldn't do it obviously because again, it's not the MCU. But if they had Old Man Hawkeye in this, it would have been sick. Now again, they hadn't been in a movie together before. Whatever, you would have had to bullshit some stuff. But
and they didn't have the Banner Clan, like the Hulks.
Oh yeah, no, they didn't. They didn't go that direction.
Yeah.
2018, you get Deadpool 2 and Venom. Deadpool 2 good.
It's good.
Very good.
Deadpool 2 was good. It built off the first. I thought it was funny. I really liked.
There was
finally a good Juggernaut.
You got a good Juggernaut. I didn't love the kid. Like that's just me. I know some people might have liked them and whatever. But you also got a really, really good cameo. Like the Brad Pitt cameo was hysterical. The thing with what's his name? What was the
Rob
dude?
Delaney?
Rob Delaney fucking
Pete. Was it Pete
in that? Oh my god, that was laugh out loud funny.
I love Zazie Beetz. I think she's awesome.
Same. She's very good. Josh Brolin
is Cable. That's another fucking perfect casting.
I like it. You're right.
Yeah.
So and then Venom again. We'll talk probably more about it next week, but it was just like fine. It wasn't horrible, but like with Tom Hardy, I was expecting a little bit more.
And I liked it. I like it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because of the source material and because of Tom Hardy, I like it a little bit more than other people. But
2019, we got Dark Phoenix. Pretty forgettable.
Super forgettable.
And 2020, after about 9 delays, we got the New Mutants.
And there is a alternate universe where the movie the director wanted to make is out there, and I want it. This is like, to me, borderline Snyder cut.
Oh, maybe yeah.
Because remember when it was pitched, it was like, this is a Marvel horror movie, and it absolutely was not that.
No.
Like, I would have liked to have seen some fucked up shit, like American Horror Story shit, go down in that hospital.
I agree.
Like mutant conversion therapy, like whatever. Like, I would have loved to have seen something that horrific.
There was a good movie in there somewhere, but what we got was trash.
It's awful.
And then so this week we get Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and then sometime next year, because it keeps getting punted, we're gonna get Morbius. So those are the movies, Ryan, that are non-MCU. Again, there's 25 MCU movies. There's roughly 33 non-MCU movies, although they might carry some of these in. For me, I won't go through my entire rankings, but my top 5 are Logan, Deadpool, Days of Future Past, X2, and First Class.
Okay. Mine are.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going in chronological order. X2, Spider-Man 2, Days of Future Past, Deadpool, Logan.
Yeah.
You didn't have Spider-Man 2. I did.
I didn't. I had that 8 on my list because I also I like X-Men, the first one a lot, and Blade. I had Blade at 7. But no, Spider-Man 2 is good. Like, I think the top 12, 13 are really good. Then there's sort of like a middle ground that's like, eh. bottom 5 for me were, let's see, Spider-Man 3, X-Men Origins Wolverine, Elektra, Fantastic Four, and Howard the Duck.
You didn't even put fucking Daredevil. Was it Ghost Rider? Wasn't even your bottom 5?
No, that's how bad. I mean, it's bad. It's bad. Yeah, there's probably 10 trash movies out of the 33.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. All right. Anything else on these?
No, I mean, and if you say, because I know I can hear people saying the Incredible Hulk with Ed Norton, that technically is in the MCU.
Oh yeah,
Robert Downey Jr. is in it, so that's the reason.
MCU.
Before you say anything, that's the reason why we didn't.
Well, no, I mean Thunderbolt Ross too. Like it's definitely MCU.
Yeah, the end credit scene is Thunderbolt Ross and Tony Stark. So
it's definitely MCU. So these are those. I wonder how many more of these are going to be made though, because again, they're all going to get absorbed. Like now now that Marvel and Fox and everything's the same.
You didn't even bring up that whole bullshit that's going on with the Ditko estate in Marvel. Like that. Who knows what's going to happen with that?
With any of these movies, like with the Spider-Man character or any of these characters. So anyway, that's where we're at right now, and we'll see what happens next. All right, let's get to this.
Pick of the bomb.
Pick of the bomb. Pick of the bomb. Pick of the bomb.
All right, Ryan, would you like to kick, receive, defer, or you may also choose at this time to defend a goal?
I will defer to you this week.
All right. So as I told you, I've been reading the absolute shit out of comic books recently.
Yeah.
Thanks
to
the
you, big reader.
Hoopla app. Thanks to TLDR for pointing me, Dr. Joe, into that direction. I've been just reading all these DC Black Label books.
Yes.
There's the Joker, Harley, Criminal Sanity is what it's called. It's like 8 or 9 issues, but the whole thing is collected in one edition. Really good. And it's a little different because the artwork might take you out of it a little bit. I was talking to Joe, and Joe was like, I couldn't really get past the artwork. It looks like almost like a photo or almost like a really good like oil painting.
Sure.
So it's different than like a regular comic book, but the story in it was really good. Nice. So check out Joker, Harley, Criminal Sanity. What do you got?
You're gonna be surprised at this, especially after our last week's episode. My pick of the pod this week is a movie on HBO Max called Malignant. I finished it. I finished it, and I don't know if this is the reaction that the filmmaker James Wan wanted. I was laughing the whole time.
I think maybe
I was laughing the whole time at this movie. It was so ridiculous. And like you said, it's a love letter to all of those horrible B horror movies that we've seen. The dialogue is terrible. The special effects are atrocious. But I honestly believe that this was done. But that effect where she's sitting in the chair and it spins around. They do it like 6 times.
Yeah.
Whoever that actress was, she made like that. Was that Shelley Duvall? Who's that Shelley Duvall who's in The Shining?
Yes.
She makes that face that she makes, like that horror, like that shape. She makes it the entire movie. And I don't know why, but everybody in that movie was out of breath the whole time. Like the heavy breathing in the movie is astoundingly funny, like to me.
So do you completely understand now what I said? Where
yes.
It's so either your favorite movie or it's your least favorite movie.
And it's the people who don't watch horror movies, who didn't grow up watching shitty horror movies. Like if you didn't do that, you'll hate this movie.
Definitely.
But if you get it, it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
To me. Like my wife and I were laughing the entire time watching it.
Yeah.
So did you?
Yeah, it's insane. It's like a nod to like the B movies. I wouldn't even say Cronenberg so much, but I guess
not even like Cronenberg's too artsy. Like this is just like straight VHS shit.
Pretty over the top. Yeah. That's pretty good. All right, that's a good one. So we'll hit on that too at some point in Dorktober 6. Jason Rossi Lives. Next week, Venom, Let There Be Carnage. We'll break that down. So if you guys don't see it in the theater, we will give you plenty of spoiler free and stuff at the beginning. So don't worry about it. And for those of you that do, we'll give you the spoiler full. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Dork Podcast and subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Dork Podcast. Rate, review, subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Tell a friend, tell a dork, all that stuff. Ryan, what do they say about Wombat?
Square poops, small dinks.
You're going to have problems, just like everything else. But stay positive and stay strong.
Just like us.
stay positive and stay strong.